I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name. Check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change. Possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me, I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak. No mercy, all I got is working. Never stop searching, never quite so thirsty. I'm toxic and psychotic, but there's logic, you can't stop it. It's been chronic since I was a boy, so neurotic and chaotic.
Built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the cast, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grieving. Put your foot on the gas, don't never stop competing, yeah.
I've been doing this, I'm on it, I just wanna be iconic. Sipping on a gin and tonic, got me going off when I'm on this topic, yeah. If I ever play, I want it, you know that I'm always honest. Stay away from those who are toxic, keep them out your face, no way, you don't want it, yeah. Don't try to drain my energy, the enemy is everything. It's mentally, unhealthily, spreading like a rare disease. But I won't let it get to me, I don't need your therapy. I can leave a legacy of leading by intensity. Come on, we can fight this, freedom is priceless. Spread just like a virus, living in a crisis. Do you feel courageous? Do you seek greatness? Trust me, you can take it, go on and take your aim, yeah.
Built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the cast, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grieving. Put your foot on the gas, no, never stop competing, yeah.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, yeah.
Turn on your mind now, tune into the feed. We're planting digital flowers from a single tiny seed. Yeah, power to the collective in the data and the soul. The hive mind's getting louder, finding voice and control.
When we get to the FBI, we don't know who did the work. You heard that any of that information is redacted. We don't know who did the work. It's a giant secret. We know that by the time the FBI gets involved, the profile, the text file, that's a snip to use to try to identify somebody is more than twice as big when it gets to the FBI from Othram. We don't know how.
I've got an itch I can't scratch, I'm missing a piece that completes a whole part of me, an open wound scar to see. Everybody come here, gather round, welcome to the freak show, the best in town.
What is going on, Hive? I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Let me just double check the audio. Oh, yeah. We are loud and clear. And Melanie, right off the jump with the super chat saying, thank you for having the beautiful and talented Sue in the Hive, Birdie. Love you both. Let's go. Yes, we are going to have an absolutely amazing stream this evening. And Tina Skull Scar says, Sue is amazing. Bring it on. Good morning, Hivers and Mods. Well, I asked Sue backstage, what time is it by you? And she was like, it's 10 to 1. And I go, in the morning? So thank you to Sue in advance for staying up and hanging out with the Hive. We certainly appreciate it. I'm excited for it. I hope you all are excited for it. This is probably the most requested collaboration that I've had, and I think it's going to be great. We are going to be diving into the Idaho 4 case. However, before I bring Sue up, let me just give a disclaimer. In general, more so than ever, this is a contrarian thinking live stream. So if you are easily rattled or if you are offended on behalf of others, it's not going to be the stream for you. If you are the tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorist in your friend group, you have found your friends and you are surrounded by your people. We will welcome you with open arms. I go live every weeknight at 7 p.m. Central. I'm going to say what's up to everybody. Then I'm going to get Sue up here as fast as I can because we're going to have a ton to talk about. Okie dokie. Lisa's in the house. Luna, shout out to my mod. Crime Spy, crushing everything. Trust no one. Marsha Mayhew, Rocka Lily, 1984, Claire Mack, Sammy Joe, Cardinal Lover Dina, Vicky, Halo Art, Charcoal Daisy, Carol B, Sam. How many people are in the UK Hive right now? I'm just curious. Zach says it's 5 p.m. here right now. What's up, Elizabeth? Philly Special. Camellia. Crime Spy. Harper. Kimber. Ren. UK Karen. Beachy D. Cats Mojo. What's going on? Poetic Justice. Carolina Bravo. RBF Queen. Jessa. Chocolate covered ants. Sammy Joe. Tom's tuning in from Norway. What's going on? Shirley, UFO Dog. Absolutely. Hit that like button ASAP. K-Kaz Girl. Sassafressy. Harper. Mel's Bells. Jenny LaRusso. Chickadee. LL Glassman. Thank you. Says Sue plus the Hive energy. I can't wait. Man, I got to tell you, I could feel the energy coming through the screen already. Like the anticipation for Sue, which gets me extremely excited. Someone just said, fuck yeah, Scotland. I love that. I love that. And UFO Dog loves the Aussies. I don't even, is it Akosi? Akosi? I hope I said that right. Cardinal Lover says love from Florida. Carolyn says 1 a.m. here. Wade today says I'm excited for this. Love a good psychic. Joe Jod, North Carolina. What uppers, Birdie? Chrissy Angelsford or Angel Sanford. Sammy Joe. Harper Steele says Sue is so dope. The most dope. B and Gina 13. How are you doing? Big Forehead, Big Dream says I'm so excited. Well, I am as well. Real quick, if you guys have not hit the like button or the subscribe button, please go ahead and do that. We got 240 likes. We got almost 700 people in here already. Let's take a second here. Hit that like button. And as a reminder, any Hive Mind finds, guest request, if you're outside of the Discord, should be going to Birdie's Hivemind at gmail.com. That's the best way to get into contact with myself or send anything that you want the Hive to discuss. Thank you, Luna, for throwing that in the chat. Birdie's Hivemind at gmail.com. Birdie Bombshell 00 at gmail.com. I don't typically check that as much ever since this email went live. Tom, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Shout out to Norway. I want to go to Norway so bad. I should take Mrs. Birdie there. But anyways, enough about that. I know you all are tuning in right now for Sue, and I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to bring Sue up. Let me just change the layout here quick. Sue, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great. You got a lot of people tuning in right now from the UK.
I know it's amazing. I'm just thank you so much for inviting me on. I've been so excited about this.
Yeah,
It's
I'm stoked.
and you've got the most amazing group of people following you. So hello to the Hive and everyone, and thank you anyone in the UK that stayed up to watch me.
So
Like,
it's after 1 a.m.
yeah, and my daughter wouldn't even stay up and watch me, which is disgusting.
Wake her ass up, Sue.
I know, yeah.
No, that's incredible. And shout out to everybody that does tune in from, outside of America. I see there are regular people that tune in from the UK, from Norway, from Scotland, from Australia, from wherever. The Hive is reaching far and wide. And Sue, I gotta tell you, and I did tell you backstage, no BS. This is you are by far the most requested collaboration I've ever had. People send me your stuff all the time. So I'm stoked to be able to talk with you tonight.
It's crazy. I would not have expected that. For all the guests that you've had on, I'm blown away.
No.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's my honor. And
Mhm.
let me just real quick, let me put your slide up here. So if people want to be able to find you where they can, I got your YouTube channel up here. You said that is the main platform
Yeah,
that you stream on.
that's my true crime stuff. Majority of it at the moment is the Idaho 4. I do try and delve into the odd case here and there, but to be honest with you, the Idaho 4 is consuming me, and I'm sure it's the same with a lot of other people. I feel like I sometimes I say, okay, let's do something else tonight, and then I'm like, no, I need to carry on with this. It's like, yeah.
No, you're preaching to the choir with that, because it's kind of like, for a lot of people, if you're just a true crime fan, this case makes zero sense. And if you're somebody like myself that can't stand the mainstream media, what feels like lies to you, this case is right at the top of that list too. So there are two groups of people that are absolutely converging on this case, and both of those groups of people agree on, more times than not, that we're being lied to about what happened.
Yeah, definitely.
We're being lied to with the narrative. And one of the things that I want to ask you about, just for people that maybe aren't familiar with you, is I want to give you, a minute or two to kind of talk about what it is that you do. So you are able to, would you describe yourself as a psychic, a medium, for people that maybe don't know, who you are, what you do?
So, I mean, to be honest with you, I hate the labels. I've always.
And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to label. I'm just saying.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying personally, I don't like it. When I say I don't like it, I hate. Hate's a very strong word. I shouldn't have used the word hate. But as far as I'm concerned, anyone can do what I do. And when people say to me, oh, how long have you been gifted and things like that? And I'm like, I'm not gifted. I've got the same. You've got the same. Everyone's got the same. It's the ability to tap into it and trust it and develop it. It's all of those things. And I just say to people, for the people who are hardcore skeptics, I say to them, think about animals. Think about, especially wild animals, or any animals actually. They communicate with each other without having to have, a sophisticated conversation. Animals can alert each other to danger. They can call on each other without using any kind of communication, but it is something to do with, using that skill that humans haven't developed yet.
I agree with that. And I know you were saying, in general, hating labels, completely different, but at the same time, the same.
Yeah.
I can't stand the term, you're a creator.
Yeah.
Because I want to be like, no, I go to my day job and then I get home at night after eating dinner with my wife and I turn the webcam on and I talk to the Hive. and I love doing it. Right.
Yeah.
So to your point though, I think you got to give yourself some credit because you say everybody can do this, which could be true, but not everybody is doing that. So
No.
can you describe like, what is it like when you get, something, whether it's a reading, do you have to channel energy towards a person, towards a case? Does it come to you randomly, like almost if you have a dream? Because I don't know either. And I'm kind of curious too. Like, how would you describe it happens?
So it's interesting. I feel like I'm still very much a novice at this. I know that's to some people I'll be like, what? But compared to some people that have been doing this for, 15, 20 years, and I picked up my first tarot deck in 2020. Where are we? So it would have been 2023.
Okay.
And I knew nothing before that. I mean, I had sort of, I knew that I had something, but I didn't know tarot and I had to learn it. But the way it works for me is, in reality, I should be able to do what I do without picking up a tarot deck. What tarot is basically, it's a bit of a training wheel, if that makes sense. So all the tarot does is gives you a clue or a way to direct your energy, if that makes sense. So I describe it a bit like, without a tarot deck, it's a bit like walking into a library, but all the books are like thrown on the floor and they're all in a pile in the heap, and you need to find a particular book and you're like, oh my God, I don't know where to start. So what the tarot does is you'll turn a card over and it'll direct you to the right place, if that makes sense. And it gives you a way to order the messages you're getting. But the way it works is very much like the way you think, really, or the way it works for me anyway. It's, I will have a thought or an idea and I just run with it and I go with it, and I just trust my gut. I trust my intuition, and that's what it's about. That's the essence of it.
It's like how I'm interpreting that is, it's like a roadmap to your intuition. There might be arrows that just point you, like, trust your gut in this direction. If you had
Yeah.
this thought, I love the analogy of like the books are scattered everywhere. They're open, but which one are you going to, read,
Yeah.
read for it?
Exactly.
And well, that leads me to my next question. The Idaho 4 case has captivated millions of people.
Mhm.
It's allegedly over and done with, and people need to just move on. But yet there's something inside of a lot of people, speaking of that intuition, that just says something's not right. You know what I mean? Like this just doesn't feel right. It hasn't felt right, especially now with all the documents, with all the court hearings, the plea deal, the audio, the video, etc.
Mm.
And I guess, what is it about the Idaho 4 case that, like, what was your first reading on the Idaho 4?
The first reading I did on the Idaho 4 was on Brian Koberger.
And what made you do that? Or how did, maybe that's a dumb question, I guess. Like, how did that even come to be?
So it's interesting because I originally, my channel, I only wanted it to be about zodiac readings. And that's what influenced me. I was watching other tarot readers that did astrology, and I was like, that I want to do that. So, and all that happened by accident, because it was actually Princess Kate. There was stuff going on about her over here, and there was all this speculation and gossip, and I don't know, people were saying that because she hadn't been in the public eye, and people were saying she's died and we don't know where she is and all this. So I thought, oh, I'll do a reading. I wonder how that would turn out. So I did that reading and it was instantly popular. So I thought, okay, I'm onto something here. And then it just kind of developed from there. And I just finished doing a series of readings for someone called Jay Slater, who's a teenager who went missing, British teenager. He went missing in Tenerife. And those readings were so popular. People were, very much like the Idaho 4. They were really hooked on it. And I didn't know what I was going to do next. Once I'd finished with that, I was like, I don't really know. There were so many different cases that I could have kind of put my energy towards. And I hadn't considered the Idaho 4 because I was thinking, does anyone know about that in, over here? And no one did. And I thought, am I going to be cutting out a huge part of my potential audience by delving into that kind of thing? So anyway, long story short, I was busy doing something one day, minding my own business, and in pops this voice into my head. And this voice says, do you want to know who did it? And I know now that it was Maddie. And I was like, I just stopped and I thought, yeah, okay. And she said, it was a police officer. I was like, what?
Holy shit.
And in that moment, I thought, I'm deluded. I actually thought, okay, now I'm making it up. I'm like, that's just ridiculous. So I went on a bit of a deep dive after that to see if there was any possibility that there could be. And this was, I think it was either 1 or 2 years ago, I'm not sure. And I happened to come across another, this was really interesting. I happened to come across another reader who was doing a reading on Brian Koberger as well. And that's one thing I'll never do, is watch other readers, because that's just like the quickest way to end up with unconscious bias or whatever it's called. But anyway, she's doing this reading and she's just going through it all. And then she turned a card. I couldn't see what the card was, but she turned a card and I saw her go white as a sheet. And I knew that she'd just seen what I'd been told. And she kind of skimmed over it, because I think she was more worried about, if I say this, then this video is going to get taken down, or, I'm going to be in trouble. But she kind of said, oh, yeah, so this is something about law enforcement. But yeah, and you could see she was struggling and she wouldn't say what she saw. But I knew instantly then that this was something, there was definitely something in it, and it's developed. Since then, it's just like, it's all starting to fall into place.
That's so crazy. And there was a handful of people that I was putting up on screen. Not that I want to distract you by the comments that I put up on the, from the Hive, that were like full body chills. Cause that, with the police officer, that came out, or you would have said that before anybody had the suspicions of an affair and anything like that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, that has to be a lot to not only deal with in your own head. Like you said, I'm going crazy. I'm, whatever it might be. Is this true? Am I fibbing myself? And then to feel compelled enough to like put that out there and trust in your abilities to say that. I mean, have you struggled with a reading in regards to this case that you've since put out, but initially when you did put it out, you were like, I don't know, and it's been proven true? Would that be an example of it with the police officer?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I take a risk every time I do a reading, because especially at the beginning, I think, this is going to be the one where I'm going to get a lot of negative reaction, or, people, I'm going to lose a lot of subscribers, or I'm going to lose a lot of followers. And honestly, it's never happened yet. And I find it fascinating, because I bounce off my followers. It's like, I literally, when I do a reading, I usually go into a reading having known nothing. If anyone follows me, they know that half the time I have no clue about anything. I'm just literally letting the cards tell me, or fill in the details. And it's afterwards that I sit and I'll read through the comments and people's emails and say, hey, did you know this? And they're telling me things that I've been trying to figure out, like I'm doing a reading and saying, what's this about? I'm getting a red door or something. And they're like, yeah, so-and-so, Jack Showalter had a red door. Or, it's like, it's just fascinating. So, yeah.
That's crazy. And I think it's also crazy that backstage, Hive, and I hope it's okay that I share this, Sue. You can tell me to shut up. But I was like, how much, like, how detailed are you reading these reports? How much are you looking into this? And you actually told me something that kind of blew my mind, where you were like, I try to not go as granular as somebody like myself would, or people in the Hive would, because you don't want to be influenced. Rather, you'd get I think you said it was like, you'd rather get the reading and then after the fact, dive into it.
If it fits afterwards. Yeah.
And why do you do it that way? Just so that you're not biased? Like, have you had an instance where
It,
you
it
do
is.
question yourself? Like,
It is literally if you know. No, I mean, at the beginning, I'd involve myself purely with the hearings and stuff, so I knew that that's factual. So, and I wouldn't go and sit and watch, say, one of your shows or anyone else's shows before doing a reading, because I know if I did that, and if that show had been, say, for instance, saying that, say if I hadn't read for Dylan and everyone's saying Dylan's involved, Dylan had something to do with it, I am 100% going to go into that reading before I even turn any cards and think, yeah, Dylan's involved. You know, I could see a card turn over and it could allude to, you know, Dylan lying or something. But actually, without that knowledge, it could be something else. So yeah, that's why.
and that makes perfect sense to me. You want to give yourself the best chance of being authentic to your own brain,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Um, Geez, Angel Heart 7926. Thank you for the massive super
Wow.
chat. Angel Heart says, I've been an intuitive empath with premonition ability my entire life. I also have had my own ideas and deep thoughts on this case. I'm so glad I made it here tonight. My new podcast I'm starting is called Everything Human and Beyond. Warm thoughts to all. Well, Angel Heart, where can people find Everything Human and Beyond? Is there a YouTube channel? Is it on Spotify? I would love to plug it for you real quick. And thank you so much
Yeah.
for the super chat. But I mean, Sue, like, I got to ask you, how many people do you meet? And I don't mean to be rude, that think you're crazy with this.
Very little, to be honest. But then
Yeah.
I'm not a very sociable person, I'll be honest. But I'm also very, very surprised that I don't get more negative. Like, you know, you know yourself, Birdie, that there'll be certain comments that you have to monitor, you know, that you have to, and people are just a bit like, you know, crazy. And I just thought, okay, get ready for, I'm going to have some really harsh reactions to what I do, because outside of YouTube, and that's the only time I have kind of received any kind of really harsh
Outside of
criticism.
YouTube?
Yeah, like on Facebook. If I've ever put a video out on Facebook and I've actually pushed it through adverts or anything like that, that's a whole different story. I get all sorts of people coming at me. But yeah, on the whole, YouTube is just so positive. I can honestly count on one hand in a week how many negative, abusive comments I get. And it's probably the same for you. My followers are also like protective. It's like, you know, if anyone says anything negative, they all jump on it. It's like, I don't need to do anything. They're all doing it for me. But yeah, it's I'm so surprised. I honestly thought it would be a lot harder, and it's not.
I had that same experience, Sue, from TikTok. And I don't know if it's something with the platform in general, where on TikTok, so I've never really been big on Facebook, but like TikTok, you have your FYP, right? So
Yeah.
it shows what the algorithm thinks you want to see.
Mm.
It could be people that agree with you, people that don't. It's not that I'm wanting to be in an echo chamber by any means, but I will say I think YouTube does do a better job at showing people who
What they want
want
to
to
see.
hear. Yeah, exactly. Or they want to hear what you have to say regardless. They just want to see you more. And
Yeah.
unless you go to like that friends tab on TikTok, which I feel like many people don't, they just stay on the FYP.
Yeah.
They can comment, and then it's amongst what, hundreds of millions of people and bots and all that other shit. So I do think YouTube is way more positive. And real quick, just to finish with Angel Heart again, says, I'm starting it on YouTube, Birdie, and I'll let you know. I'll let you know, honey. I'm having surgery in a month, so it's been a bit delayed. Hoping to be all over. Thank you so much. Love you, Birdie. Well, thank you, Angel Heart. I appreciate the super chat, and you let me know when the surgery is over with and you're all healed up and healthy, and I would gladly promote that. And True to It says, let's go, my true souls. Thank you so much. And Mama Tata says, miss you all. Glad to see this. This is the guest. I'm coming back to Sue and Birdie. Am I dreaming? Dream team duo. I'm not joking, Sue. This is the amount of videos of yours in my inbox are crazy. And so I got to ask you, what is your own personal favorite reading for the Idaho 4 that you've done?
Oh gosh, favorite.
Not to
I'd
put you on the
say
spot.
it's probably, which was one of the, and I've only done about 3 of these where I've just I can't do it on camera or on screen. I don't feel like I'm experienced enough yet, but I want to develop it, where I've done channeling sessions with Kaylee, and that is probably the most popular video I've done as well. But I've had to do it in my own time and then write notes or record what I'm getting and then put the video out afterwards. But that was fascinating. I connected with her 2 or 3 times, and each time was so different. I think the last time she asked me to pick up messages, and I'm not religious, and I have nothing against anyone who is religious, but I know Kaylee was. She had quite strong Christian faith, and she asked me to pick up the messages she was giving me through the Bible, which is something I've never done before. So she was literally giving me the book and the verse,
Wow.
and then telling me, which bit was relevant, and I was jotting it all down, and it was all like so interesting.
That was Kaylee, you said, and
Yeah.
that was that. Why do you think that's your favorite? Has that been like the most detailed because of the book and the chapter and the verses, or
it was titled Bombshells from Kaylee because the things that she told me was just mind blowing, and it was the level of detail.
I've watched that actually.
She pulled a lot of things together for me. I don't know if she's got anything left, to be honest. I think she's given me everything she's got, but so it's a case for me now is just to keep going through all these names until I hit the jackpot, and I'll know when I have.
That just gave me chills. Because like you have to, for somebody like yourself who's done this, right? You say officially you're on social media since 2023, right? I don't think that people can just randomly wake up and decide every day, Hive, that they're just going to do this and then put themselves out there on camera. And I know you're very humble about it, Sue, where you're like, it's not this gift. Everybody can do it. But for the same time, even hearing you say that, I'm like, I can't do it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I can. I've never been able to.
Well,
and
you've never tried, so.
Well, you're right. I haven't. I guess I've never even thought that I have the ability to do it. So,
if I gave you a tarot deck right now and you don't know any of the meanings of the cards, like for example, let's just pull one out here. Okay. So if you look at this image, okay, all you have to do is literally focus on this image and tell me what's the first thing you start thinking or feeling? What's it making you?
I think of growth. Like I see things growing.
Okay. And you can carry on looking at this card, I mean, literally, and just see what else comes into your mind. And then you just start building a narrative. Is it telling you a story? And you can look at this card maybe every day and see something different or get a different story or a different vibe from it. You'll start noticing little things like different details. And that is literally how it works. You can sit down and you can learn the meaning of every single tarot card, but you'll never learn it because every single tarot card has multiple meanings, and then you've got all the reverse meanings, and then you've got the combinations of every card together and what that means. Or you can just do it intuitively and sit and look at the cards and say, hey, this is telling me a story. I've got these cards, they're all sitting together and there's a story being told here from one card to the next. So in a nutshell, it's that easy.
So, well, okay, 2 things. One, as you said that, and you said we should look at it longer, what else do you see? I saw 2 people, what looked like a man and a woman. So I thought of my wife, and I thought of things growing. The first thing that I saw was, and again, it could just be my monitor, but it looks like almost like something growing on vines. And I know that it's not, but I saw that first. Then I saw 2 people, and then I thought of my wife, and I'm like, okay, maybe that's, my wife and I growing something like a life. But then also my own subconscious said, I feel like tarot cards, they're all named like a normal deck of cards, and that's not true. Like tarot cards don't have names. Like I feel like I've seen people say like, "Oh, this is
have names." Yeah, they do. Tarot deck has 4 suits, and then it has another whole section which is all different like cards which aren't suits. So they do every single one of them has names. This is the Four of Wands, and it's
The Four of
interesting.
Wands.
So the fact that I've picked this card just randomly for you is about marriage.
Jesus. Are you serious?
Yeah, this is about marriage. It's about happy home. It's about marriage. It's about connection. It's about your happiness, or your, how do I explain this? You know, if you were going to say what's the one thing that makes you the happiest, then it's you, your wife, and the time you spend together in your home. And it's that feeling of safety and I don't know how to explain it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I guess I can't believe that I said that.
Yeah, see, exactly. It's like, do it again. Hang on,
Oh.
pull another one.
Well, I see what looks like, can you tilt it down a little bit? There's a little glare. Yeah. I see somebody that looks like they're holding something that's fighting by themselves. You know, it feels like maybe your back's against the wall. You're the only survivor. You're going to be okay. That's what comes to my head.
So Seven of Wands, and it
What
is about fighting your corner, standing your ground. It's a card of defending yourself, protecting yourself, getting ready for, you know, what's to come, maybe preparing, or what's the word, bracing yourself for something. Yep, 100%. See, you can do it.
I've never seen a tarot deck of cards in my life. Like outside, like I've gone to the psychic and they've done my chart. That's it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I've never specifically looked at them. I'm mind blown right now, Sue. Honestly.
You'll have to go
What
and
do you
buy
think?
a deck.
Yeah. Jesus. Okay, help me out here. What do I say after this? Because I'm just like, I don't get it. So what does that mean that you just pulled those two cards now?
So for you, if this was going to be a reading, obviously the marriage card has come out, or your family home, your there's a word for it, and that's terrible. It's another thing is I get word amnesia all the time. Where's the other card gone? The Seven of Wands, which is, like I said, it's about standing your ground, not giving up, not giving in. I mean, if I was going to put those two cards together, I'd say that one of you, and I don't know if it's you or your wife, one of you is not giving in on an idea or a concept of some kind, and maybe the other one's like, yeah, I'm not so sure, and they're like, no, I'm 100% adamant, I am not backing down. Whatever this is about, it's like they're determined. And I don't know if that's you or her, but there's something here about, it could even be determination from both of you to, you know, that your marriage as a couple is the most important thing, and you both work, because it's not, you know, it's not easy. Relationships don't just, you have to work at them. My parents used to say to me, you have to work at a relationship. If you want to be married and you're still in your 80s and you still want to be married, you have to put the work in. And I think there's a lot of strength and determination probably from both of you, but I don't know if one of you is more stubborn and won't. Do you know what I mean? Does it make sense?
No, it makes a lot of sense. And I probably think she's more stubborn, and she probably thinks that I'm more stubborn when it comes to those things. So I think that's just crazy, dude. That's so crazy. And so when you say this, you know, being vulnerable right now, right? I'm just like, there's this like emotional feeling that comes with that. Like, I'm like, holy hell. Like, do you see a lot of people get emotional during readings?
Yeah, all the time. And I used to think, you know, and I sort of took it for granted, because I'd do a reading for someone. A lot of people obviously ask me to connect with loved ones that have passed over and things like that. And understandably, people are going to get emotional about that, and I completely understand it. But it's the other times when I'm doing readings and I'm just picking up, oh, I can see you're struggling with, something or other, and you look up and they're like, they're bawling, and I'm like, oh, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean to upset you. But I have no problem with people expressing their emotion. I don't ever want people to be, embarrassed or ashamed or anything, because I just think your emotions should be, do you know what I mean? They're there for a reason. So
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree with that. I think that if you were always like even keeled and steady, you're actually super psychotic. Like you should feel something as a human, right?
yeah,
Like
definitely,
you should have
yeah,
emotion. If you have emotions, that's healthy. That's
yeah.
normal. That's what we were designed to feel and act in
And
those emotions.
it's interesting, because I think a lot of the time when people are having a reading with me, I'm not telling them anything they don't know. Most of the time, people book a reading, I am telling them everything they already know. That's the interesting thing. And I'll say that to them and say, look, everything I've just told you, you already knew. And they'll, yeah, I just needed it confirmed. That's what they want. They want it confirmed. They want validation. But the thing with the emotion is that there's something about having a reading where they cannot stop the emotion coming out, and everything they've kept bottled up is just, and that's it. They can't do anything about it, which is, I don't know why it happens, but it seems to be some sort of trigger. I don't know, it's strange, but it's a good thing.
Yeah, I wonder if that's because from a human, like a psychology standpoint, I'm obviously not a psychologist. I don't know what I'm about to say from a standpoint of like science, but from a personal standpoint, connecting here with you and just talking with you, it feels oddly comforting that somebody is saying something without me saying it. Like
Yeah.
you're like, you're reading it. That's what it is. And maybe that's, at least in my head, how I interpreted it when you're saying like, well, a lot of people do. And I'm like, is that because very very few times in your life can you just be silent and somebody says something that hits, that's like, wow,
Yeah.
that is it. And you have that gift. And do you ever get emotional yourself personally doing this?
Yeah. Do you know the worst one? The one that always gets me is animals.
Animals?
I'm gone. If someone asks me to connect to their dog or their cat that's passed, I'm like, I can't hold it together.
Oh man.
Which sounds really bizarre, is all these people that have, some of the stories that I get told, people's lives are, I mean, I thought I'd had, like a traumatic life, and then you hear about what some people have gone through, and I'm like, I am literally gobsmacked about how is this person even sitting here talking to me. And I get emotional, things like that, and it's just a kind of feeling of what some people have been through, and you look at the person they are now, and it's just, I don't know, it's mind-blowing.
Yeah. Wow. And it's like, you're also feeling that. You're not just hearing them say it, because you're tapping into something
Yeah.
that's not words. That's so crazy, Sue. Holy hell. I mean, I'm speechless about what just transpired over the last 10 minutes with the cards and, what you said about our marriage. We have a great marriage, but it's like the stubbornness. And then I don't know if you saw that. Mrs. Birdie was like, he's a Taurus. He's the stubborn one. In my head, I'm like, yeah, in my head, I'm like, am I stubborn, or am I just, I'm able to say, no, it might be you, which you guys can see the headbutting on some things, right? But to kind of delve back into the Idaho 4 case, you had said Kaylee was your most powerful or your own personal, I hate to use the word favorite reading, right? Whatever you want to label that.
Yeah. I had the strongest connection with her.
Strongest connection. That's the right word. Thank you. What's been your most recent?
I did one, what's my most recent reading?
Yeah, because then I see people in the chat saying you did one with Ethan or Stacy.
Yeah, I did Stacy, which just went public tonight. So that's the most recent one that's just gone public.
I have not watched that yet.
Yeah, and I did one tonight as well, which is members only for 24 hours. Don't know if I want to say who it is.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Don't share anything you don't want to. But the most recent public one was Stacy.
Yeah.
And what was that like for those people that haven't watched it? Which, by the way, go and watch that. This is Sue's channel right here, Revelation Tarot. This is her page, but that went up today.
Yeah. So it went live at 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. this time. So that was, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours ago. It's interesting because I think it's the third reading I've done for Stacey now. And the first reading I did for her, I kind of, I was like, I didn't pick up anything untoward or anything like that. It was quite a sympathetic reading. I felt for her emotionally. I felt for her. The second reading, I seem to, and also that's the other thing, and I don't know if it's just me, but I think it is a psychic phenomena that you can do a reading and literally the second you finish, you forget everything that you've just done. It's like, I think it's something to do with spiritual cleansing, where your mind is cleansed, so that if you are, for instance, if I have a day where I'm doing back-to-back readings, I need to be able to forget the last reading, because otherwise I'll bring that reading into the next reading, if that makes sense. So I have forgotten a lot of what I picked up for Stacey, but I do remember the second reading was more questionable. Let's put it that way. I was picking up things about was she playing away in her marriage? Was she having an affair? That kind of thing. And then this one, it was the darkest reading about her. I won't obviously go into the whole thing, but she's highly manipulative and controlling. She's very driven. The title of that reading is The Entrepreneur, because she is just one of those people
that is a powerful title. Holy shit. The Entrepreneur. I feel like, given all the circumstances, that is wow. Yeah. And one of the, because I don't know if you know, all my readings now are done randomly. So I have this jar which is full of lots of different names, and I just pull a random name out the jar and I do a reading on it. One of the names in this jar is Offram Labs. Oh no. Yeah. Wow. And well, I can go back and forth with you on Offram Labs, and just so everybody knows, this is the most recent video right here, 4 hours ago. All right. Well, did you pull Offram Labs out? I haven't done it yet, no. But what made you determine what names you're going to put in that? Just feel, or what? The names that I'm aware of, there are certain names I haven't put in there because I just think they're out of the running. I don't need to put them in there. But there's some people, a lot of people I've already read, and I put them back in the jar because I'm like, you need more of my attention. Dylan will be one of them, for example. I think I've already done 2 or 3 readings on Dylan. And you put them in, or you left them out? I mean, I've done her. She has already come out of the jar. I see. Okay. I will probably put her back in at some point because there's still more to see. There's more to find out about her. I can't pick everything up in a 1-hour reading. It takes more time. But as far as names are concerned, it's people that I've sort of shortlisted in my own mind, and then there'll be people that email me and say, "Hey, can you do this person?" Coco, I don't know if she's here. She's great for that. She's always sending me like names and stuff and like filling me in on who they are, because a lot of the time I don't even know who they are or what their association is, and she's kind of gives me all the information that I need. So yeah, it's interesting. Well, it's interesting that you bring up Dylan, because I actually posted so what I do, Sue, is I'll go live with you right now. It'll be an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then I post, a 30-minute quick cut for people that maybe don't have time. I titled the quick cut from last night with Dago as a picture of Dylan that says the wild card.
Hmm.
In my head, it's like, is she an asset? Is she a liability? Is she a liar? What is it? She holds so much information that can be wrong, can be a lie, yet it provides in an odd way clarity, right?
Hmm.
If it is a lie, it's clarifying other parts of the timeline, and if we think it's true, it's confirming parts of the timeline.
Yeah. I honestly, and I right from very early on, she was one of my first readings. I think I did it in the order. The first reading was Brian Koberger, and then because I wanted to just tap into the living energies to begin with, so I did Brian Koberger, then I did Dylan, and then I did Bethany. Right from the get-go, Dylan, I feel like she knew what was going to happen.
You know, and I don't mean to get you off topic here, but can I just ask, I was a little bit surprised too in general. So you can read living people.
Yeah.
It's would you describe it as like energy, frequency? It's any past, present, future.
Yeah, I mean, in essence, you can read anything. You could, in essence, go into an empty house and read that house. I
Wow.
was actually, it's interesting that I was doing a reading with someone today, and without giving away obviously all their personal situation, but they anyone that books a reading is going to be struggling in some area of their life. No one books a reading and says, "Oh, I'm having such a great time, nothing could be better, I want a reading." It's always because there's something missing. Anyway, the essence of it was that she couldn't really figure out how to get past something, and it came down to, well, some of it came down to the house she was living in. She eventually told me she thought that there was a presence in the house and she'd never felt comfortable there. It was a really old building, and I said to her, look, I said, yeah, that might be part of it, but if it is an old building, that building absorbs the energy of all the people that's lived there over the years, the centuries, however long that building's been there. It's absorbing everyone's energy. People may have died in that building. People have, fought in that building. And all of that energy is absorbed into the walls, into the floor, into the atmosphere of the house. And you can feel it. Have you ever gone into a house and just felt the atmosphere's off?
Yes, many
Yeah.
times. Like, especially, so like Mrs. Birdie and I, we were, I guess, house shopping or house hunting. We were looking to buy a house. Excuse me. There were some when depending on what house we went into, we'd get back in the car, put our seatbelts on, we kind of look at each other, and it was like, I don't like that energy in there. I don't like we would say that dead ass. Like, there's also places where we've gotten into my truck and we've been like, that felt good. Like that was,
exactly. Yeah.
I don't know if anybody in the chat has felt that. I'm curious, Hive, type of one, if you've done that, like whether you're looking for a house to buy, whether you walk into one of your buddies' houses. I'm sure the chat will explode right now with ones. It's what do you call it, Sue, for somebody like yourself? Like, that's an immeasurable, and it's not. It doesn't have a scientific name, but we all have the ability to read it. Like, besides just instinct, intuition, we kind of chalk that up to just this ability. But what happens when science or something that can measure it? Do you think there's ever going to come a time when a tool will be able to measure that ability or capability of humans?
I don't know. I mean, probably we're talking like way further into the future.
Yeah.
But what I think is fascinating is I think we are about to enter into an era where people are going to be exploring their own, their own intuition, if you want to call it that. That whole thing, there's a whole part of your brain that is largely unexplored or misunderstood. And I honestly believe that it is all to do with, intuition or communicating without speaking, put it that way.
Sometimes I wonder. Okay.
And I think that people are going to be developing that over the next, like we're coming into the age of Aquarius, which is all about thinking beyond the norm, which is exactly what your channel's all about. But people actually starting to accept it and explore it and develop it, because it's all right for the odd person who is, you know, genuinely, because there's a lot of frauds out there, but people who are genuinely developing that side of themselves. But when a whole collective group of people start doing it, the power of that energy is going to be awesome. And I can't wait for it to start happening.
You know what's so crazy, Sue, is as you were saying that, I put them up on the screen, but I just want to emphasize them. You got people saying, you know, golden age, baby, consciousness, 5D. It's there. We're just not on the frequency yet. Somebody said, I've been here 5 years. Angel Heart, exactly. Wade says the collective consciousness is rising. It's
Yeah.
knowing without knowing how you know. It's just, I agree with that. There has to be this aspect of human development from a conscious standpoint, not just a capitalistic standpoint. And yet we're all kind of brainwashed to only look at it from a capitalistic, like the biggest buildings or the fastest, you know, rail or the whatever it is, right? Like the monorail or are we gonna have flying cars? But really, none of that happens without us.
And also people, the majority of people will define, you know, human success as being, you know, succeeding in their career, or you know, having earned X amount of money, or having realized their dreams, which usually is something to do with materialistic goals. Whereas actually, when it comes down to it, when you are taking your last breath on this earth, and I always say to people, nobody's going to say after you've passed, especially when people are disappointed in themselves and say, oh, I wish I tried harder, or, you know, I wish I'd tried to climb the ladder more, or I wish I'd earned more money. And I say, look, when you pass, nobody's going to be saying, oh, you know what, Birdie was a lovely guy. It's just such a shame that he didn't try harder in his career, or it's such a shame that he didn't earn more money. You know, nobody says that. The only thing people care about is the impact you have on other people, and the mark you leave on other people. And that's all it comes down to.
Dude, that is so deep. And I'm not even trying to be corny when I'm like, that is so deep. Like, you just summed that up so well. Really. Because if you've witnessed that, you're right. When somebody's passing in front of you, none of that shit matters.
No.
Like at all. And honestly, you would be the asshole to say that, because nobody else around you is thinking it either.
Yeah, exactly.
So, man, so I guess, Sue, I have so many questions for you. One of them that I haven't asked yet is, what about the investigation aspect of readings? Have you ever looked into that? Like the truth, like if you had to give like a percentage of this percent truth, this percent lie, not that that's how you would read it, but I mean, if you just right now had to answer that based on what you've tapped into, would you say it's 90-10 truth, 10% lies? Would you say it's 10% truth, 90% lies? How would you categorize that?
This case?
Yeah, the Idaho 4, yep. 50-50.
Oh my God, it gets worse and worse. The more I uncover, the worse it gets. I mean, even just talking about it from a general perspective, for instance, talking to my daughter who used to work for the police. So she knows how everything works, you know, she knows the processes, she knows a lot of stuff that I don't know. And I sit there and I tell her about some of the things that have gone on with this case, because she doesn't actually follow it. For example, when they were having the hearing about the IgG, and they couldn't come to an agreement about where the IgG was sourced from. So Judge Hitler just said, look, you two can't actually agree, then you two are just going to have to make something up. And Natalie was like, no, that didn't happen. And I said, it did happen. And I had to prove it to her by playing it to her. And that's just one tiny example. And that's the people that you're meant to trust. Those are the people that you're meant to, you know, let's cut away all the other bullshit and the people that are lying, that are obviously being deceptive. And then you put yourself in a courtroom, not only just in the courtroom, but the judge. There's no hope. It's like, if that's the case, then I don't trust anything that's written. I don't trust any records that have been taken. I don't trust the forensics. Anything and everything can be changed and manipulated. And I honestly believe it has been.
Now, to kind of go on the opposite side of that, have you had readings where you do trust it in other cases, where you feel like this is the truth and maybe that the person that's trying to maybe plead saying I'm innocent, they're lying and it's not the state lying? Have you ever felt that?
I've done a couple of readings where it's totally gone against what everyone else believed or thought, and you know, and that's probably the only time I've taken. It's not even been backlash. It's just been, I disagree with you, etc., etc.
I see.
What one of them was about a missing person who everyone was convinced had been unalived by their husband, I think it was. And I said, I don't see it. I just see this person's had an accident. They've fallen in a river and they've drowned. And probably 80% of people didn't agree with me. But yeah, so it does happen the other way as well.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. Like, does it ever?
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes back the other way. And I'm mind blown right now because, you know, I've watched your videos. I've seen people talk about you. You do have a presence on camera, genuinely. Like there is something powerful about the way that you say this stuff, and I believe you. I believe this. And maybe there's people that say, "Oh, I have a bias because prior to this, whether it's a spiritual connection to what I call God, or to with my father passing, things like that." But in general, I don't just feel that talking to everybody. So I think when you have not only that presence, but you also, as weird as this might sound, you have credibility to the stuff about this case. Like you talked about the cop, and then you've talked about Stacey Chapin a little bit just recently. And I wanted to dive into this entrepreneur aspect. I've said, I find it strategic and smart on Othram's part to take family members of homicides that they've solved and use it as a PR rollout. Because now if you question their methods, you're questioning solving a murder of grieving families. And if you question those methods, you're questioning grief. How dare you? And that's what that has always felt like to me. It's like I hate to say the word, it's genius on Othram to do that because it shields them from scrutiny on their ability to find DNA in this case. Like, what if it was wrong? Well, how dare you question it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And for her, it's a business opportunity, which is like, I cannot get my head around that kind of thinking, you know, and it's just so cold. I just, that's what I can't figure out with her. Yeah, it's
opportunistic. Like you said, the entrepreneur, like that's just, it's such a great title for that.
Yeah.
That's how I would sum it up. It's it's a business opportunity. Whether she's talked into it, whether your reading says she's seeking it out, right?
I haven't got to that. I haven't got to the actual her connection with Othram Labs, and I'm hoping it will come up. It will come up when I pick that out of the jar. But in her reading alone, I think I probably deliberately kind of didn't want that to come up yet. But it was much more about her her human reaction, how she has been, or what she's, you know, how she's, what her journey's been like since Ethan passed. And it's just like, it's like that energy of nobody get in my way. I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm going. And she's, I don't care what anyone says, but she's capitalized off the death of Ethan.
Wow.
You know, she's, and I compared her very much to Steve G, because they're the two people that were the most vocal. They're the two people that went out and actively promoted stuff, or actively, you know, went and did all the interviews and things like that. But the difference, interestingly, between the two of them is that I actually think Steve G is more what's the word? He has a heart. I can't think of any other way to put it. Whereas
Empathetic,
yeah,
like sympathetic, empathetic.
yeah, and he's more open. I think there is a genuine curious.
Heart
You
on
know,
his sleeve.
he wants to know what's going on, what is bloody going on, and yet, I mean, everything she's done, everything she said to me is like just another confirmation that she, first of all, knows exactly what happened. She didn't want to go to the court. She didn't want to go to the hearing, Brian Koberger. She didn't want to say her piece for her son, which is, talking from experience, you cannot wait for that day when someone's, you know, especially someone, I mean, taking the life of your son, and you don't want to go and say your piece to the person that allegedly did that. It's like a natural, that should be a natural need, the least you would want to do as a mother. And she's like, no, I don't need to. Because she knew it wasn't him. She knew he didn't do it. That's why she didn't go.
It explains all the off and odd behavior. Really, it does. What is the only way that a mother would, more times than not, like from a reasonable person's behavior, act in that manner? And that is, why would I go waste my time going to this when I know it's not him?
Exactly. Yeah.
And so what if she either does know the answer, or what if she's like, maybe accepted, I'm never going to get it, so I'm just going to, and then that might explain how she's acting now. I don't know.
I from what I've seen, and obviously anything that I pick up in my readings are not factual. You know, I don't claim any of it to be,
Of course, yep.
accurate. But from what I've seen, she's had some kind of influence in what happened to Ethan, not deliberately, but it feels like something, and I haven't quite figured out what it is yet, but someone she was connected to in the past is in that connection somewhere. And she's one of those people that's very good at switching that off. It's like, I'm not going to allow myself to go there. I'm not going to allow myself to think about that. I'm not going to go down that road, because that's a sign of weakness, or yeah.
You know what's interesting when you say that? And I'm not about to put my grandma on blast by any means, but when my grandma was grieving the loss of my father, or the loss of her son, you could have told my grandma the sky was green, and she would have been like, you're right, it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's in different aspects. I have seen that, but at the same time, to your point, my grandma knew exactly what happened.
Yeah.
I hope that makes sense. And
yeah.
Two things. One, Blue Eyed Candy, thank you for the super chat saying, I'm so late tonight. Sorry if this was talked about already. Have you had any feelings about the kitchen area of 1122 being a primary spot of violence? And before you answer that, Sue, I just want to say, Mrs. Birdie I had it on screen. You can book a private reading with Sue via her, on her YouTube channel. If you go here by more, you could see book a private reading. My wife said you got to copy and paste it into the browser, but then you'd be able to do so. So if anybody does want to book a private reading, that would be where to book it, right?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah,
yes.
it's in the description. So if anyone's interested, or if you want to know more about it, you don't want to just go ahead and book, then you can email me, which is revelationtarotgb@gmail.com.
Revelation. I always
Revelation
mess it. I say
Tarot.
tarot revelation. I'm like, shit. It's Revelation Tarot. My bad. But let's get back to Blue Eyed Candy's question, because this has been a prominent spot of controversy, especially given the crime scene photos. So I would like to add an additional question, if that's okay, to what Blue Eyed Candy said is, not only have you had any feelings about the kitchen area, but what about the crime scene photos in general when you look at these?
Yeah, so I've had not a long, exploration of all the crime scene photos, but interestingly, the photos of the kitchen are probably the pictures that I have spent most time looking at, because it is just, again, it's ridiculous. How do they get away with it? Like, how do they get away with crime scene evidence photos that are changing in every picture, and that's not questioned? It's like, yeah, I don't understand that. I don't understand how the level of kind of, sorry to use the word, but fuckery that's going on is never questioned, and it's just like, yeah. But yeah, the crime. There's definitely the only thing I know, or the thing that I've picked up from my readings, is that obviously we've got 4 people, but actually I keep picking up 5, but that's another issue. 4 people, and they've all passed in, I think they've all passed in different places. So they certainly didn't all pass in the house. And as far as I've picked up so far, I think only one person was actually unalived in the house. And it could well have been in the kitchen. I also picked up, which was quite a long time ago, and something, I don't know if it's actually come up in documents yet, that there was something about, again, someone manipulating the crime scene to cover up, and it feels like a mirror was moved or something to cover up a bullet hole. So yeah, I think there's evidence of shooting as well.
I'm writing that down. I'm writing that down right now for mirror bullet hole. I mean, what do you have any insight on, like, was it a bedroom mirror? Was it a living room mirror? Was it, or I guess, like, where was the mirror? Any?
If it's a mirror, but it's something like something on a wall.
If it's a mirror, right.
If anyone gets the opportunity to look at the pictures with a fine-tooth comb and go, right, there's the picture, okay, there's the picture on the wall, and then 5 pictures later, it's like same room. Where's the picture? Where's it gone? Or something's moved. It's like, because the reason it's moved is because they've hidden something, they've covered something up. I don't know. At first, I thought it was bedroom, but I can't be sure. I don't think it was the kitchen, interestingly.
What if, just kind of riffing off of you, what if that's why some of the pictures, parts of pictures, are blurred out?
Yeah.
Like, what if that's what it is?
Yeah.
They're covering a rip or a tear or a crack or a hole.
Definitely.
And I know I guess I shouldn't assume that, because I know what you said backstage and what I had said earlier. As far as looking into it, are you familiar with when Steve and Chrissy and Olivia are sitting on the couch and somebody said, our niece called us and said they shot the place up?
Yeah, I've heard about that. I haven't actually sat and watched the interview. Is that the same interview where Christy says, we've got to get this right or something?
That's a good question. I don't know if it is that. I don't know if it's the same interview. Maybe it's in the beginning, because I've seen that clip, but I've seen them at 2 separate times. Somebody in the Hive will know if that's the same one. But I will say that the reference of, my niece called me and said, somebody shot the party up, Kaylee's dead. And the reaction and the way she's describing it, I'm like, that's not made up.
Yeah, because that's the first thing that was reported. Like, the very first instance of report was, it was a shooting.
Yeah, and people are saying that is the same clip. And for anybody that hasn't seen that, um, it, what would you describe it? Like a hot mic kind of catches Chrissy saying, "We got to get this right," like kind of quietly
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
I don't know, before they're about to film.
Yeah.
Which again, oddly enough, they could then go and say their niece called them and said somebody shot the party up and Kaylee's dead. And they dropped their phone and they're like, "Oh my God. I don't get it."
Yeah. So
And,
something.
and like that interview, it hasn't been scrubbed. It's still up. That interview's never been on Ashley Banfield. It's never been on Brian Enton. It's never been on Nancy Grace. It's never been on any of these mainstream channels. Like, why is nobody asking that question?
I know. Not just that. I mean, so many other things, like the people who believe that Brian Koberg is guilty, even though, which I also find fascinating, even though they don't try and explore anything beyond what they're told, they also don't want to let go of this either. I don't know if you've noticed that the people that have decided that Brian Koberg is guilty, he's in the right, he's in jail, and that's it, end of. But yet they're still interacting with all of the stuff online. They're still getting involved. If they, if it's job done, why are they still interested?
It's a great question. And I've tried to theorize on why that might be. I don't know if this is accurate. Maybe I'll take flack for it. And I've said that, or I've said what I'm about to say maybe 1-2 other times. Part of me wonders, like, if the way that somebody feels when they see Brian Koberger on the screen, this monster, this weird guy, this creeper, does that represent something in their own life that they've experienced?
Or does it represent themselves?
Oh, fuck it. Yeah, maybe. Everybody, like, it's kind of like the whole concept of like, you're a mirror to what you don't like. You don't like in other people what are your worst qualities.
You project your insecurities onto other people. I think that there's been various reasons why individually people decide to continue following this case, and I think the majority of them is if they're going to be really honest, it's because subconsciously they know. I mean, they're not stupid. People aren't stupid. And they know that it's not. I think there's just a general feeling, even the people that have assigned Brian Koberger to life in jail, that's not going to happen.
Say that again. You think what's going to?
The people that have said, right, he's in jail for the rest of his life, and that's it. We don't have to worry about him anymore. That, if you were going to give them a truth serum, they would sit there and say, yeah, but I don't actually believe that. I don't believe he's going to be in jail for the rest of his life. There's something's going to happen.
Again, I'm not sure how much you tune in, but have you ever heard of Devil's Advocates? He's my Monday night guest. Okay. Yeah. So him and I were talking about how we should do like this 1 year from today, or like, I guess we were going to film them on the 13th for like the anniversary. Mm-hmm. Just what do we think from a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now? We got this idea from like Mr. Beast. Oddly enough, he took a year. He's like, I'm going to release this video in 2025. And he's like, I hope I have 1 million subscribers. And that like was scheduled. And now look at that. And that's how I kind of had this idea for the stream of saying that. And we came up with, why don't we say, like, what do we think is going to happen? And my first thought was Koberger is going to get suicided.
Yeah. I picked up on that energy ages ago. I got a kind of warning about it. I just wanted to kind of tell him, watch your back. Obviously I can't and I couldn't. But it's such a complex thing because now I'm questioning everything. So if we see on the news tomorrow, Brian Koberger found dead in his cell, I'm going to question that. First of all,
yep.
Is he? That's my first question. He? Yeah.
Thank you.
Or have they just tidied him away somewhere? He's done his job. Like now you can, go and be someone else.
I agree with that because there has been what I call like narrative seed planting this whole case. You look back to the first interview of Steve and Chrissy again. I'm not here to talk about the families all the time, But I will talk about the interviews where they go on the national news and they talk about this, right? And it gets millions of views. Like, don't get mad at me for asking questions to, hundreds or thousands when they're going out and being projected out onto millions.
Yeah.
My thing is, how do they know 30 days before Brian Koberg is arrested, before anybody knows who this is? Yet you go back and you listen to that interview. Steve certainly seems like he's talking through the screen to somebody specifically. And then what? He just pulls out of his ass. We need a a family lineage company to come in and do this. And it's like, wow, what are the odds that Brian Koberger is then caught with a family member's genetic genealogy in Pennsylvania from a Q-tip in a garbage can that has trace DNA and a brand new leather knife sheath?
Yeah, that hasn't got anything else on it. There's like completely unmarked.
And now you compound that to that same narrative seed planting of, look at the victim impact statements. You might have gotten A's and B's in school, but you're about to get big D's behind those prison walls. And like, I hope people get you. Like, they're like,
it's like a production.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. It's like, now's my 5 minutes of fame moment kind of thing. And Olivia, like, she went to town, with that. She's like, she made the most of her 5 minutes, 100%. And again, another one who's kind of trying to make a living off this, not make a living off it, but look how much she's changed. If you notice how much, when you look at her back then and you look at her now, it's like, is it just me, or is she?
Talk about Olivia.
Yeah, I know she's lost weight, but I think she's had work done. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Her face looks so drastically different.
One of the things that I thought was the weirdest was this whole creator naughty list. The fuck is that? You're gonna make a naughty list of creators for questioning Olivia? On TikTok made this creator naughty list. And you know what? If me talking about this ends up getting me on this naughty list, well, so be it. I haven't said anything about her, but I'm just saying, to me, that seems weird. Like, these people that are, on your naughty list are questioning documents that we can all read, we can all see, we can all hear these court hearings. Exactly. We're all, in an odd way. You might not like how it sounds like, but it might be more of the truth. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so what this creator's naughty list of hers is just like people who are going against what they believe. Is that all it is?
Yeah, pretty much. Like I'm trying to think. Hive, help me out. Like, I know Justice with Justine was on that. I don't know if Booking with B was.
It's hilarious because she's actually promoting these people, so fair play,
but I just thought to myself, like, it's always so weird in any case, and I'm not just talking about this case, when it's like these family members, these friends, these people, they want to go after the internet. Why? The internet reacts to what the effing news puts out there to millions. You should be mad at them.
Yeah. It's because they have no control over it. It's so interesting as well, because YouTube is now I don't know if it's the same over there, but in the UK, YouTube is watched more than mainstream TV. So there's more people watching YouTube than mainstream TV, and it will eventually take over. So all those mainstream idiots are going to be out of a job, and it's going to be people like you and me. Well, you, because probably not me, because I'm doing the psychic stuff, but that's what people want to hear. I know that when I want to hear about something that's going on in the news, I will tune into someone that has a non-biased opinion and is open-minded and open for discussion and not being fed bullshit.
I love how you said that, because right. How I sum it up is, whenever the paid for talking shills, the Ashley Banfields of the world, tell me, don't go and watch this person. We are your trusted source of media or information. Okay. That's when I literally am like, now I know you're too dumb to probably realize it. I want to go watch them more than I did before. And I'm probably going to be more apt to believe them because you just said that,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And I don't get it. I don't get it. It's the same thing too. We talked about it last night. Like a lot of these big time, like, anchors, if that's what you want to call them. I don't know what you guys call them in the UK, the talking suits, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The hosts of,
Mhm.
primetime news.
Yeah.
They get their own YouTube channels, but they have all of their channels logos. So like, is it really their own, or are they just?
I don't know. I mean, there are that. For instance, have you heard of Piers Morgan?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have.
So he basically got booted off of mainstream TV for misbehaving, and not even misbehaving, just doing exactly what we're doing, actually speaking
Just
his
being a
mind.
dumbass.
He lost his job because he spoke his mind.
Oh wait, Piers Morgan?
Yeah, he expressed
Yeah.
his opinion, and they sacked him. So he took everything he had and opened a YouTube channel, and it's highly successful. He interviews all the huge names, but he does it independently. He runs his own show.
So
And
does that happen a lot in the UK? I'm curious, like with
I
the
think
news.
it will start happening more. There's a channel over here which is called GB News, which when it started, it was meant to be a non-biased, that it was the news channel to go to if you were sick of all the, the manipulation and the all of that stuff. And it was okay when it first started, and now it's just exactly the same as all the others. So someone's controlling it. Someone. It's not just because they're all falling into the same step. I think it comes down to the people like Murdoch. They tell the news what's to be broadcast, and they control so much. But then you come to places like this and they can't do anything about it. There's nothing they can do about what people are putting out on YouTube. And just about everyone that I do a reading for, and I say to them, I do not follow anything on mainstream TV. I don't watch the news, to the point sometimes where my daughter will contact me and go, oh my God, it's terrible, what's happened? Are you okay? And I'm like, what's happened? I haven't got a clue. And there'll be a shooting, or not shooting, but someone stabbed down the road and I don't know about it. So yeah, and more people are saying to me too, I don't watch it. I don't follow the news. And that's the majority of people that I speak to. And it's spreading far and wide. And probably majority of people in the Hive refuse to watch mainstream media, mainstream news. So it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's a revolution. And eventually they won't have enough people to maintain. They won't have enough viewers to maintain their channels. You imagine how much these channels cost to run.
Well, I do wonder too, how much are they spending to boost them?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? There's a real aspect of that where the bigger your channel gets, the more opportunities you have where you can secretly boost them. And I'm talking like way beyond anything that Sue or my channel is. Like I'm talking, there are companies that you can do creative things to get views, to get likes, not just even with bots, but you can incent. It's just,
yeah,
it's insane. It's fake. It's fake. That's what it is. It's all fake and it's phony. And I want to go back to one of the things you just said, which is they're not going to be able to stop this. Well, I also think they're one of the, their biggest mistake, whether you want to call it the deep state, whether it be the powers that be, the nefarious people that run our world, like we're just some peasants and puppets. They never expected the internet. They never expected us to be able to communicate in real time. And that was their mistake. They never expected people to take VHS recordings and be able to edit them and upload them of 9/11. And now we can debunk that and we could talk about it in real time, like what you and I are doing right now. They never expected that, or they never expected us to use it in this manner. Well, surprise, surprise, motherfuckers. We're here and the Hive's not going anywhere. Sue's not going anywhere. And it's not stopping. So good luck trying to stop this, because we see right through you. We see right through your fake talking head paid and bought shill ass more than ever before. And if anything, you continuing to talk like that, you continuing to try to shove it down our throat, you continuing to try to get us to not believe our own eyes, not hear our own, not listen with our own ears. You're only literally encouraging us to continue this.
100%, 100%. More and more people are waking up to it. It's more and more frightening as well, though, because how do you trust anything now when you've got the rise of AI? I could be AI right now. I'm not, obviously, but
That's
you
exactly
cannot
what
trust.
AI would say.
Yeah. Yeah. So it literally, everything has to be questioned. Everything.
You do have to. I've gotten got by AI. I've sent something to my wife and she's like, "Are you kidding me?" And I'm like, that's not AI. She's like, "It's so obvious that it's AI. Like, it's not as bad as like the cat doing the triple backflip off the diving board. That might get my mom. But like, there's some things where like I've seen like a jaguar come and like grab this dude off his porch and drag him into the woods. And she's like, "That's AI." Like, are you sure?
Yeah,
You know what
I
I mean?
mean,
Like,
there's some stuff which is ridiculous, and you're like, okay, it's clearly AI and it's entertainment, and I like that. I do. I think it's so funny some of the things you can do with AI, and that I can sit and watch that all day long. But then there's the other side, which is so frightening, where you can make a leader of a country look like they're threatening Third World War or anything like that, and eventually AI will be able to, actually trigger a world war.
if it hasn't already,
Yeah.
because I've always questioned, is AI, the public facing AI that we have now, was that what these people, kind of like the black money market, the black ops, the military grade people had access to 15, 20 years ago? And
It's
now
been
it's
a,
just public facing. Yeah.
it's been around for years. I mean, people think, okay, AI has been around, the AI that you and I know, ChatGPT, all that stuff for the last, I don't know, 5 years. But then no one includes things like Amazon Alexa, all of those things that have been around for way, and that's AI. But people forget,
Right.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And it's like when you used to watch a movie like iRobot or what's that new movie that's out where like there's these maids that you can go buy and they like live with you.
I don't know.
I only
I don't.
remember this because I made a joke to Mrs. Birdie that went over terribly.
Oh, you wanted to get one. Yeah. If I was her, I would have said, "Hey, go ahead, get one, get two. I'm off."
Yeah, it went over. It did not go over well, but I think what we can kind of tie this back into the Idaho 4 is whether people want to believe this or not. I think it's worth being said is if you don't think that the technology exists to fake a multi-victim attack and get the world to believe it, you're sorely mistaken.
Yeah, exactly.
It exists, everyone. It's done existed. It's been used on us.
100%.
And that's what's scary to people. I think it's also really scary to people I think you mentioned it earlier in the stream, to try to wrap your head around why would somebody ever do that to its citizens? And one of my favorite analogies that I've ever heard, Sue, is like you're a good person, I'm a good person. The majority of the people in the chat are good people. And when you're a good person, you assume others are also good people and that they don't have nefarious intent.
Mm.
But what that allows for is for these nefarious people with that bad intent to quickly and easily pull the wool right over your face and accomplish whatever they want. And you have no idea that they just pulled a fast one on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to learn to be, you have to be more discerning, but you have to do it in a way where, again, and it comes down to intuition. I hate to say it. If you want to sort out, who to trust and who not to trust, because you have to question everything now. If you want to know, then you have to trust your intuition, and that is just go by feel.
I agree. And so I've seen some people in the Hive asking that they're like, has Sue said what she was going to say on Birdie yet? I have no idea what they're talking about. I don't know if that was.
Yeah. Okay. So I I was doing a reading the other night, and before I did that reading, I had one of those moments, a bit like I had right at the beginning of this this whole situation, where Maddie came into me and said, "By the way, it's not Brian. Do you want to know who did it?" And I wish I'd kind of explored this a bit more, because it's giving me information which I need to know more about. But it was to do with Dylan.
Okay.
So, and it was basically to do with I mean, yeah, it was around the reason this information came to me, because I was in and out of watching her interview, but I wasn't 100% focused on it. I was just it was in the background kind of thing. This is what I got. She was told before, it was all around the situation with Homeland Security. And I don't know if it was if this is a connection to Homeland Security, or if that's what triggered it, but she was told before everything went down in the house that night to get ready, prepare yourself, because there's going to be a raid. So she was told there was going to be a raid on the house, and I'm presuming that means some kind of rugs raid, or, but she was it wasn't even about remaining in place. It was jumbled, and I didn't sit down and explore it. But what she was told wasn't necessarily true either. Does that make any sense to you? Because I don't actually know if it was actually meant to be a raid, or if she was just told it was going to be a raid. I don't know.
I don't know what you know about it prior, as far as like the things that we've looked into, but there's what I'm calling this Freudian slip that happened in an interview, where it sounds like Dylan was about to say Homeland Security. That's what I'm guessing what you were watching. And what I find very intriguing about what you just said is, I always thought it was a debrief after. What if it was a briefing, not a debrief? What if it was prior, that Dylan, in that interview, which was the day after Brian Koberger got arrested, or less than 24 hours, what if she was referring back to prior to this happening? Like prior to everything going down a month ago. Like, I remember when Pennsylvania Corrections reached out and they said, "Do I know anybody in Pennsylvania?" And I said, "No, I don't know anybody from Pennsylvania." What if she was talking about prior to the crime ever happening?
Quite possibly. One of the things I picked up, and again, on one of the very earliest readings I did, which was actually, I think it was Ethan's, it was either Ethan or Xana's reading, and about the fight that he had, which wasn't that night, it was a different night. But part of the reason for that fight was, apparently, don't forget, this is what I've picked up, it's not factual, that he found out that one of the I don't know who it was, but one of his frat brothers he knew he was dealing rugs, but what he didn't know, and what Ethan had found out, was that who was supplying the rugs to this person was a member of law enforcement. So law enforcement were involved in the rug situation. And that has a lot to do with Quinn, because he was dealing, and that brings Dylan into it. So she has knowledge, she's involved, she had connections with law enforcement. Everything that you've been told about Kaylee and a member of law enforcement, I saw it as being Dylan actually having, intimate encounters with a member of law enforcement. I saw as being Dylan. Kaylee, what I saw was, she's been doing something on the side, whether it's OnlyFans or something like that. Law enforcement.
Oh my God. Hang on, Sue. I just cut out. I heard law enforcement with Dylan, and I lost my mind. I'm frozen in a fucking shock phase with my hands on my head. So hang on. Please repeat that. I'm so sorry. I didn't hear anything.
Okay.
Damn it.
So where did you get to?
That it might have been Dylan having the intimate.
Yes. So she was with, and I only saw it with a particular member of law enforcement. Not quite sure who it is yet, because all the readings I've done on law enforcement, they're all doing it. They're all at it. Like, seriously, there's like rampant law enforcement running all over Moscow, shagging everything that moves. But anyway, yeah, it was one particular, and she was literally in bed with the police. Okay. Kaylee, they knew that Kaylee was running something like an OnlyFans or something. It might be something more nefarious than that. I don't know. And they were basically blackmailing Kaylee and using her for sexual services. That's what I saw with Kaylee. Yeah. So this wasn't a romantic affair that she was having with a police officer. It was someone using her because of
blackmail.
It was blackmail.
Dude, my mind is blown. So just to recap that, Dylan may have been the one with the cops having the mutual intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rumors about Kaylee might have really just been, they might have, been, quote, intimacy, but it might have been forced intimacy.
Yeah.
Holy hell. And you got that by reading through Dylan or
so the Kaylee situation has only been revealed fairly recently, but the Dylan situation I've known from day one.
And then Homeland Security. Okay. So then Homeland Security, you mentioned Ethan. Ethan might have found out it was Quinn supplying it. Well, we all know about Quinn's father. I don't want to speak for you. I'm just, where my brain's going is like, now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna think through this theory, knowing what you just said. I haven't thought in that light yet.
But that's why Ethan was then targeted, because what led from that was Ethan. When this happened, what I saw was it happened while Ethan was drunk, so he was basically shouting his mouth off about whatever he'd found out in a public place. And then later on, what I saw was Ethan actually being captured by someone who was, I still don't know who this guy was. I've got a very clear image of him. He had a Canadian accent. He looked Irish. He was loaded. He had a reputation. I still don't know who he is. I'm still trying to find who this person is. And he just basically, he captured Ethan and just said, you can't be running around Moscow running your mouth off like that. We need to do something about you. I don't think he's the one that actually unalived Ethan, but I think they definitely taught him a lesson that night. And I don't know if the intention was ever to unalive him, but something, and this is what I need to unwrap, this is what I'm talking about with two different situations happening on the same night. So, and I effectively have seen Ethan being tortured. Yeah.
Do you think that's so, going off of that with Ethan and then Xana, nobody knowing where they really were, like officially? I've always thought it's weird. How do we have Kaylee and Maddie's timeline down to the second, down to the minute, and then 50% of the victims, we have no idea where they are?
Exactly. And it's like, it's not up for question. It's like when you, as part of a police investigation, that would be key.
What's the most common, like, mistaken accent for Canadian? I'm just curious. Does anybody know? Like, I know you said Canadian. I'm just in my mind.
I would have no idea. That's a question for you. I don't know all the accents.
It says upper Midwest American accent, like Minnesota. But I'm not sure. I mean, I feel like Canadian. Yeah, there's people in the chat saying Minnesota. I mean, damn, that's crazy, Sue. So how do you piece together the timeline in your mind then with that? Or do you just kind of not worry about the timeline?
There's parts of the timeline that I've I kind of got very clear information on, like the Ethan timeline. But then there's other people that I'm like, well, this is a total like mystery to me. One of them is Maddie. It's like I don't think they were together, Maddie and Kaylee. I saw how Kaylee passed, and I think I saw Maddie running, and I think there's a possibility that Maddie was trying to escape, and she was captured, and again by law enforcement. That's what I saw. And Zan is another one. It's like, because I feel like Ethan and Xana were separated. And similar stuff going on with both of them, but two different situations. And Xana was wasted that night.
I want to just get to this super chat quick because I've seen this pop up. Is the burned car that was found in Oregon connected?
I don't know. I haven't explored that.
There was a white. Is that burned though? Was that burned? And if I'm mistaken, burned car for the wrecked car that was the white Hyundai Elantra, correct me. But that's the one where my head pops. Like it was in Eugene, Oregon. You're familiar with that?
Yeah, I've heard about it. It's not something I've sort of tapped into. So I don't know. I almost feel like there's a lot of stuff in this case which are and that's something else which came up in a reading. I think it might be tonight's or yesterday's. A lot of stuff is deliberately been created to deliberately confuse or mislead people.
They've done a damn good job. I'm confused, Sue. I'm very confused. I think a lot of people are very confused. And I think a lot of people, what it does is there's so much confusion that if you pick a theory, frat, university, drugs, whatever, the confusion is so far and wide, you can't sway from that theory. Really, you can't. Like if you're going to go with the frats, you have to stick with the frats. If you're going to go with the university doing a cover up for X, Y, at least that's how I'm reading it. Because maybe that's just my brain, but I don't know if people feel like that for their own selves when they think. It just seems, I see people saying like it's all the above. If it's all the above, how do you even untangle it?
Exactly. And that's what I've been saying from day one. So this is literally like, I don't know. It's like someone just threw a load of spaghetti on my plate, and I've got to try and work out. I've got to separate it all, and it's just crazy.
It becomes fatigue, and I want to ask you to wrap this up. I saw somebody say, "Is Sue going to do a 3-card draw?" Or what does that mean? Is that like not an on the spot thing or no?
Yeah, like a 3-card reading.
Is there any predictions that for closing thoughts you want to do? If not, I'm not putting you on the spot.
I can, but what is it you want me to read on? That I need a question.
Well, let's ask the Hive. Let's see what the most said one is. Hive. Let's finish this out strong. And while Sue is getting ready and you guys are typing those in, please hit that like button, guys. This is awesome. Sue, you rock. You're awesome.
Hit the like button or I'm leaving.
Or she's not doing it. You know what? We're not doing this until we get to 14. There's almost 1,500 people in here. And, we got 870 likes. Let's get to like 1,200 likes before Sue does this. And we're going to hold it to it. And,
let's wait.
It's free, guys. It's free.
It only takes a second.
And while we're waiting, Meowdy, thank you for the super chat. Please ask if you've ever came across night symbolism. I'm assuming the Aryan night symbolism. And let me add on to that. Symbolism in general, like in your everyday life, are you in tune to that? Is that something that you've studied or?
Yeah, I mean, it's not something I've studied, but certain things will happen. I think it happened to anyone in life where there's just things that are beyond coincidence that can happen that I think are direct. It's like you're being shown something, and it doesn't happen very often, but I don't know. I've got so much to do. It's like I'm always working, and it's like, how often do you see that? But then sometimes, like I said, when you're doing a reading and you can look at a card and say, oh, or the oracle cards, which are also different because they've got completely different imagery on them. And you might pick up an oracle card. Like, for instance, the first time I picked up Rosenthal in a reading was because a card came out that had roses on it. And I was like trying to figure it out. And I was like, what is this to do with? It's just like, so doesn't mean anything. I was like, roses. Rosenthal. And I
Holy
realized,
shit.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And did you have like chills when that happened? Like when it
Yeah,
clicked?
that was one of the oh my God moments. Yeah.
That's crazy. That I could see why. I have one of two questions from looking through the Hive here, and I'm going to do a poll to see. So one of them is who is the fifth person, and the other one is will Brian be exonerated? Are both of those fair game for you, Sue?
Yeah, they are. The fifth person, I think, and because I've already done this, I've already done readings on it, and I believe it was Mowich.
Holy shit. Hang on.
Yeah.
I didn't mean for you to, I didn't know you were going to answer that. Okay. So now
There's
we
no
need,
point in me doing another reading because I've already done it. So,
holy shit. If Pov's in here, his head just exploded. What does he say? Like, hold on to your head before it blows off your shoulders or whatever it is. Hold on. That's insane.
Yeah. And in that reading, I saw the reason was because he was actually trying to, even though his mission was to take someone's life, in the reading, it felt like he bottled it and he ended up trying to save someone. And he was taken out by his own people.
Christ. Well, that's wild. That is insane. I'm sorry for like just cussing like holy shit. Like I did not expect that. Okay. Well then I'm gonna ask the Hive for the last two. I'm just gonna pick two random ones, two that I see. And also if you've already done readings on these, just tell me and I'll pick a different one. But I think, are we ever gonna find out the truth? And what did Maddie tell Adam? Are both those?
I've already done what Maddie told Adam.
All right. So closure in the case, is that open?
Say that again.
Like closure in the case. Are we going to know the truth?
Are we going to find the truth? Okay.
Okay. Let's do that one.
Let's do that one.
This is awesome.
I mean, it's not going to be announced, put it that way. We're not going to find out through the normal channels. Like there's not going to be any kind of big reveal or what I am seeing though, because I've got the 10 of Cups in reverse, which is about family. So the 10 of Cups is about family union, family unions, united, people who are in a happy, well-adjusted situation. The first thing I got from this is how many families are going to be ruined. And I'm not talking about people like you and me, people that are fighting against this. I'm actually talking about the people who are directly involved, who are feeding into this narrative, like the families of the victims, or I don't know, but there's certain people here that are going to be, this is not going to be a happy time for them, whatever's going on here. I don't know if this could even be about people being sued, or I don't know. The Six of Pentacles. There's something here about the only way this is ever going to be like at least given a chance to be, for there to be a chance for there to be a fight for justice. It's almost like someone's going to have to give something up to get something. There's going to have to be an exchange of some kind. And I don't know who or what that is. But there's definitely stuff going on. There's definitely stuff going on behind the scenes. I was saying to someone the other day, I think the way it's going to happen is that it's not going to be this case. It's going to be something else. There's going to be another case that's going on, totally unrelated, and someone's going to slip up on that case, and they're going to make a huge mistake, and it's going to reveal corruption for all to see. And what that's going to do is it's going to make everyone go, holy shit, now we need to go and check everything else again, because that's happened. And that's probably not the first time it's happened. So now we need to re-look at everything else. And they will re-look at the Idaho 4 case, and they'll start going through all of the case documents with a fine-tooth comb. They'll start questioning, you know, what's this? Why is this missing? Why has that been changed? You know, all of the things that should have been done and hasn't been done. I can't remember what Brian Koberger's zodiac sign is. And the only reason I want his zodiac sign is so that I can identify this card.
I'm the last person to ask about that. I don't know.
I think he's a Sagittarius or a Scorpio from memory, unless anyone knows.
Scorpio is what people are saying.
Scorpio, which gives me a bit of peace of mind, because this card instantly made me feel like he's been taken out. Because this card to me is about, you know, someone who's passed. But equally it could indicate someone who's no longer around, and that doesn't have to mean that they're not alive anymore. It could just mean that they're, again, like we were saying earlier, it could mean that we're being led to believe that he's no longer alive, but we will never hear or see him again. And then the Sun in reverse, which is the last card, and this is the card of lies and deception and darkness, and, you know, the clarity never being brought forward. But do you know what? There's people, we know that this is all, we know that it's not Brian Kober. We know that it's deception. We know that it's been manipulated. But what we don't know is what actually happened and why did it happen. That's what we want to know. And if we can find that out with confidence, we don't need to be told it.
So you are incredible. And I have to tell you, when you said the Mowich thing right before that, somebody goes, holy shit. You said what about Mowich? You felt like he was there, but then he ended up trying to help somebody?
Yeah, he was meant to be involved in taking it, and I don't know who or how many people were being taken out, but he bottled it. And I think it was specifically about Kaylee, or knowing how young these people were and just trying to save someone instead of, it's like I feel like he tried to help someone escape and he got caught.
Dude.
And I can't remember who it was. And I can't remember. I know it was a girl. I know it was a female, but yeah.
We talked about Dylan. We talked about the I'm here to help you. Dylan originally thought it was Kaylee in the bathroom. You just said maybe it was Kaylee. Mowich, you're saying you felt like maybe he's a fifth person and maybe he changed his mind to say, I'm here. I want to help. I'm here to help you. I've never recognized his voice.
I didn't realize. I just literally, you just said that and it's just clicked. Yeah.
I'm here to help you. Wow. That's crazy. And I want to give credit to either Beck or Blue Eyed Candy that popped up on the chat. That, I mean, it was simultaneous to my thought. So shout out to you guys in the Hive. Sue, any closing thoughts? And if not, let me just firstly say thank you so much for coming into the Hive. This is one of the best streams that I've ever personally done. And you know, like I said, you have a presence, you're talented, you're gifted, and you know, I wish you the best. I'd be happy to have you back in the Hive anytime.
Oh, thank you. Honestly, it's been an absolute joy. I've loved every minute of it. You guys are amazing, and you know, we have a connection now. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, I you know, anytime, honestly, and everyone in the Hive, you're all amazing. I can't thank you all enough for your support, you know, and You know, we're all making a difference, whether whether it feels like it or not. If we keep going, we will make a difference. We're growing.
Yes, we are. The Hive is growing. Your following is growing. And with that, I hope everybody has a great night's rest, goes into Friday, recharged and ready for a fun, relaxing weekend. Sue, thank you again. With that, Hive, I will be back in the Hive tomorrow evening at 9 p.m. Central for a live dig. Those are the late night live digs. I'm thinking, because I haven't done a call-in stream yet, that tomorrow night we'll do a late night call-in. Keep yourself in check. Don't overserve yourself before you click that link and call in, right? We don't want too much profanity or anything that's too crazy. But 9 p.m. tomorrow. Sue, I hope you have a great night. Thank you for staying up. I know you're over in the UK. It's probably, 3 a.m. right now. So
I don't care. I've loved it.
All right. Well, I hope you get some rest, or as much as you can. And with that, Hive, I will see you tomorrow evening at 9 p.m. Central. Cheers. Thank you, Sue.
Bye.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life.